I want to know how important it is for you and how you go about taking these characters off of a book page onto the screen. And then you bring these OGs that we've loved for decades in our community, and they come in and they put a spin and vibrance and enthusiasm into these characters that were, up until they showed up on a screen, were just characters on a page and in your head. How important was it for you to be able to take these OG celebrities that we know and have them inhabit the world of the Black Hamptons and the family business?
I was very adamant about certain things.
Ooh, like what? So you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that. I was going to ask.
Well, in a lot of cases, when you pick a character like Carolyn Britton, it had to be a really, really strong woman, and, I'll never forget the first time I met Vanessa Bell Calloway. We did a movie called The Man in 3B, and this is going back, to the first project the three of us worked on together.
I saw that project.
And she played a crackhead, and I never forget seeing her walk out there and almost shuddering, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is the woman that I used to fantasize about when she was on the Eddie Murphy movie, and now she's somebody totally different. So, when you learn and you see somebody that really can transpose themselves into somebody else, you get excited. So when somebody, whoever, may say, oh, well, maybe we should think about this person, I'm pretty darn adamant about no.
Okay.
You don't
bite your tongue, huh?
Nah, I'm not that guy.
You mean what you say, you say what you mean, huh, Carl Weber?
Yeah. Like Carl said, we've known Vanessa Bell Calloway, Valerie Pettiford, Ernie Hudson. We've known them for years, and Tammy, and the list, Darren, the list goes on and on and on. And it's just been an honor to be able to work with not only friends, but family, and just build something great together.
I love it. I see similarities, and I'm sure you've heard this before, Carl. I've seen similarities with the family business a little bit to like Empire and The Godfather, just a little bit. And then with the Black Hamptons, like Nikaya said, when she talked about Dynasty and like Falcon Crest and growing up on those shows, were those shows and those projects influences for these particular series? Because if they were, you did a fantabulous job.
Now, it's evolved into something more than that, because the books are great, but Ernie Hudson, Valerie Pettiford, Javicia Leslie, Darren Henson, Sean Ringo, Tammy Roman, just going down the list. These guys have taken these characters and made them their own. And I can't envision, even when I write, I'm working on Family Business 6, the book right now. I envision them. I don't envision anybody else anymore other than the people that are on this show. So to me, that's saying a lot. We always talked about, the three of us, it being our dynasty. And that if we ever have the opportunity to take it, into more episodes and things like that, people are they're going to die for this show.
Oh yeah, they are.
There's so many things that I want to do, and places I want to take the characters and people I want to introduce that in a short mini series I didn't have the opportunity to. I mean, this could be a show that people talk about 20 years from now.
I would love to see it expanded, because I love the whole premise of the old money versus the new money. And that's never something that we see on screen as it pertains to us. We never see the old money versus the new money. It's either one or the other, not both inhabiting the same space at the same time. So I kind of love that premise, and I would love to see that expanded, because full disclosure, but not really, if I had to choose between the two, the Black Hamptons is my jam. Because I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I go really far back with Vanessa back to Broadway days, and to see her because everybody on the screen has been singing her praises. So I'm just going to jump in and sing her praises too. To see Vanessa do something that is just so yummy and delicious and so out of character of anything we've ever seen her do before, it's just great. And she does it unapologetically and with elegance and with class and with crass. And I kind of love it. It's so much fun to watch. And closing it out, I want to know, what advice would you give to people that will be watching this, that aspire to be showrunners, that aspire to have their books adapted into a screenplay or a TV series? Just one little nugget of advice from each one of you for people in our community that aspire to do that, but are still trying to figure out how to get that toe into the water.
Yeah, you know what? I would just say, I always tell people, at the end of the day, it's about taking that first step and not overthinking it, getting a good team together, creating something, finding people who work with you that do different things that you do. They don't do what you do. Everybody can bring value to the table and not get crossed and get caught up into all of that, and remove the ego and create it to start. You look at so many people and it's like, there's some of the most talented singers in the world, but some of the people, it's one person who actually went out there and did it, and there's another person sitting at home talking about it, So it's really about the doing. And it's just knowing that once you take the first step, God will take the next step with you,
Okay.
And that's kind of what I was going to say. The first thing is, with God, all things are possible. For Trey and I starting Tridestin, our parents bought our first, equipment, everything that we had, and we wouldn't be here if they didn't take that road. But then it's also collaboration. If we didn't, form this partnership with Carl, and him being a New York Times bestselling author, and him believing in us and us believing in him, then, none of this would have come to pass. And then having BET and Maureen and Larissa and Rose Catherine and Michelle and John and the whole team over there to believe in what we were doing. So it's kind of like teamwork makes the dream work, but it first starts with you knowing that with God, all things are possible.
All right. Take us home, Carl.
Well, finishing the project as a writer, and not talking about finishing the project as a writer. So many people say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm working on this. But how many of them really finish? You can't shop something to somebody if it's not done. A manuscript, a book, it's like a baby. It needs to be nurtured. And once your baby is born, then you got to take it to nursery school. Then you got to take it to first grade. And you got to sit there and work on with it, homework. And, you got to go to the sporting events and watch them play soccer and all that stuff. You have to take that baby through the stages of becoming an adult. And, some of this is what Trey is saying. You can't give up. You don't give up on your child, do you?
No. I think that was a great analogy. I think that was a fantabulous answer. And it is the most fabulous way to wrap up this interview with y'all. Thank you so very much for giving me your time and talking about your projects at Tridestin Studios. I'm looking forward to people watching it and talking about it. And straight up, I'm really looking for that extension of the Black Hamptons. So Carl Weber, I'm gonna need you to make that happen.
Thank you,
I'm going to grow the baby. I
want to see it in the adolescent stage.
Hey, thank you, Carla.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Carla.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.